Welcome to the final part in this series of 4 on tariffs, entitled As Easy as A, B and C. In this video we're going to look at using complex tariffs with simple prepayment meters. And well done on making it this far, but if you're like me, we may need to remember just how we got here.
See, I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Short-term memory loss? I don't believe this.
No, it's true. I forget things almost instantly. It runs in my family. Well, I mean, at least I think it does. Where are they? Can I help you?
In the first part, Demand Influence, we showed how influencing the demand can significantly reduce the cost of supply to the utility by lowering the average production cost. And we could see when a particular demand took place and what that cost of that production would be to the utility. In Part 2, Tailor-Made Tariffs, we looked at the different types of tariffs from flat, block, time of use, and their relative advantages and disadvantages. But we showed that a block time of use tariff, or BTOU, is the most appropriate way to influence demand because its parameters mirror those of the demand curve. In Part 3, the puzzle of prepayment tariffs, we showed that when one cannot accurately apply a complex tariff based on consumption, that hasn't happened yet, and this appeared to be contradictory to the nature of prepayment, which requires payment before use. So in this final part, as easy as A, B and C, we'll now take all that we've learned and apply this to finding an innovative way to implement accurate complex tariffs with simple prepayment meters. But we need to remember, no one tariff solution will fit all circumstances, and no one time can be used to apply the tariff to fit all circumstances. We have to accept these limitations and take the best aspects from each. So let's first look at the time of purchase at the vending point. We want to collect the payment at the time of purchase in order to achieve the prepayment objective. And in order to support the huge existing install base of simple prepaid meters out there, we must apply the tariff at this time to convert the payment to prepaid units, perhaps kilowatt hours. But we cannot use an accurate complex tariff as the consumption isn't yet known. So we must use a flat tariff, because if we use a complex tariff, the best we could do is to base it on units purchased and not on units consumed. Looking now at the time of consumption, which happens in the prepaid meter, prepayment meters perform the measurement, connect and disconnect requirements associated with prepayment, and they do it well. But tariffs don't belong in meters, and there is a huge existing install base which does not incorporate tariff rating capability, and these meters will be prohibitively expensive to change. Existing prepayment meters do, however, record consumption and the prepaid meter balance, but these meters are offline, don't have a clock, and have not been able to communicate these readings to the system in the past. However, it's now possible to timestamp and communicate readings from existing simple prepaid meters. See the SmartWorks Smart STS video as an example. Looking at the third timeline we need to explore, which is after consumption in the system. The system is the best place to manage complex tariffs because it's centralized, and the billing and accounting system needs the reading and rating information anyway. The customer information system also controls and shares some aspects of the data with the vending system, such as auxiliaries for collection, and this provides a convenient feedback loop, as we shall see. But normally traditional billing systems are billing cycle driven and are used for post-payment billing only. They're not well adapted to prepayment. With all these different options, none of them being perfect, with pros and cons on each side, it's easy to get a little bit despondent. But Dory knows what to do.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you got to do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
This table summarizes the best aspects of each. In terms of payments, the best place for that is to collect them at the time of purchase of the vending system. In terms of readings, of course the prepayment meter should measure the readings and preferably timestamp them, but they should be rated by the system after consumption. In terms of communicating those readings, they should be sent ideally by the meter, to the system. The system should record auxiliaries and be able to send those to the vending system for collection. In terms of tariffs, well, we know that the vending system can really only appropriately apply a flat tariff, and the only place really where a complex tariff can be applied is after consumption, in the system. There's two problems we need to solve. The first one I've already mentioned is that we need to timestamp and send readings from our traditionally offline meter. A solution has been proposed for this in terms of the Smart STS solution, which can do both of those aspects. The second problem is what to do about the tariffs. If we want to do prepayment, it looks like we would only be able to apply a flat tariff at the vending system. We can do complex tariffs in the system after consumption, but then we can't do prepayment. So that is the big puzzle. So here's an idea. Why not have two tariffs if one just won't do? This is the SmartWorks patented dual tariff solution using differential tariffs with prepayment. Indeed, it is as easy as A plus B equals C, A being the prepayment tariff, B being the differential tariff that we need to apply, and C being the net tariff that is the result. More conveniently, to discover the differential tariff B, we can rearrange that to B equals C minus A, B being the differential tariff, C being the net tariff that we want, and A being the prepayment tariff that's applied at the vending time. So let's see how we can derive the differential tariff with a block tariff. If C is the desired net block tariff, and we subtract from that the flat prepayment tariff applied at the vending point, which is A, we then get the desired differential tariff, B. This is best illustrated with an example. Imagine that we have a net block tariff with levels of 100 kWh and 200 kWh, and rates of 1, 2, and 3 correspondingly. Now imagine a consumer purchases 300 kWh at the flat prepayment tariff rate of 2 per kWh. They would pay at that time a value of 600. Now let's also assume that the consumer consumed 300 kWh in the month. After consumption, the readings are sent to the system and rated using the differential tariff with levels of 100 and 200 kWh as before, but with differential rates of -1, 0, and 1 correspondingly. The final tally is a refund of 100 at the -1 per kWh rate and a surcharge of 100 at the +1 per kWh rate, so the net due by the consumer is 0. We can repeat this with the time of use tariff. If the desired net tariff is a time of use tariff C, and if we subtract from that the flat prepayment tariff A, we again arrive with the desired differential tariff B. Once again, we can use an example to illustrate this. If the desired net time of use tariff has off-peak standard and peak times corresponding with 1, 2, and 3 per kWh, we can imagine that a consumer purchases 300 kWh again at the flat prepayment tariff rate at the vending point, again at 2 per kWh with a prepayment of 600. Now let's imagine that the consumer consumes all 300 kWh in the day. Let's imagine 50 kWh is consumed in the off-peak period and 150 kWh in the peak period. The cost should therefore be 50 plus 200 plus 450, which is 700. But remember, the consumer only paid 600, so they're actually owing 100. After consumption, the readings are rated using the differential tariff with the same periods and the rates of -1, 0, and 1, which are the differential rates. The final tally is a refund of 50 at the -1 per kWh rate and a surcharge of 150 at the +1 per kWh rate, the net due being 100. The same can be done with the block time of use tariff C. If we subtract from that the flat prepayment tariff A, we get the desired differential tariff B. Again, using an example, if the desired net block time of use tariff has off-peak, standard, and peak times with 2 blocks, just to keep it simple, therefore a level of 500 kWh, and the corresponding rates again of 1, 2, and 3, assume now that 4,000 kWh are purchased by the consumer at the time of prepayment, at the prepayment flat tariff of 2 per kilowatt hour. That would be a prepayment of 8,000. Now assume that consumer consumes 4,000 kilowatt hours, the whole 4,000 kilowatt hours, in the month, 500 kilowatt hours in the off-peak period, and 2,500 kilowatt hours in the peak period. The cost should be 500 plus 2,000 plus 7,500, which is equal to 10,000. But remember, the consumer only paid 8,000. However, after consumption, the readings are rated using the differential tariff with the same periods, levels, and rates, but this time the rates being the differential rates of -1, 0, and 1. The final tally is a refund of 500 at the -1 per kilowatt hour rate and a surcharge of 2,500 at the +1 per kilowatt hour rate, so the net due by the consumer is 2,000. Now, one should note that using the daily allocation method for the block portions within each time period is a convenient implementation strategy in this case. So in summary, we can apply a flat tariff at the time of prepayment, together with differential rates using a differential tariff to give the desired block tariff, time of use tariff, or even block time of use tariff. Now we need to remember that we must present this information accurately and simply to consumers.
Dory, do you see anything?
Ah! Something's got me!
That was me. I'm sorry.
Who's that?
Who's that? Who could it be? It's me.
Are you my conscience?
So how will differential charges be collected? The refund and surcharge determined from the actual readings via the differential tariff B will be charged to the consumer's prepayment account. When the consumer next tenders an amount to purchase prepaid units, those charges will then be credited or debited from the tendered amount prior to dispensing more prepaid units. And very importantly, how will the charges be presented to the consumer? They do need to be clear and simple. The token receipt will show the tendered amount and cost and quantity of prepaid units purchased in the normal manner using the flat prepayment tariff A. The subsequent consumption charges calculated via the differential tariff B can be presented to the consumer in a number of ways. An invoice and statement could be delivered to the consumer directly, for example via email or using the consumer portal. The invoice and statement could be presented to the consumer at the time of next purchase, together with their next token receipt. But there is an even better way. By far the most elegant solution is to use the existing auxiliary collection method, already used by most billing and vending systems to collect auxiliaries. This has the significant advantage that the dual tariff solution can be deployed seamlessly without changing existing vending systems. Think about that. This is because auxiliary collection is already supported by most vending systems, and in fact the auxiliaries are normally managed via the utilities billing system. So the token receipt would display the tendered amount and any combination of the following auxiliaries, such as the credit amount due for the off-peak consumption or the debit amount payable for peak consumption. So let's see how this works over time. A consumer purchases prepayment units at a vending point at the time of purchase. The units are calculated using a flat tariff. The token is entered into the meter, and the consumer consumes the units over a given period of time. Readings are sent from the meter to the system. The system rates the readings using the differential tariff in order to arrive at the desired complex tariff outcome. The surcharge or refund due for the consumption is then sent down as auxiliaries to the vending point, where they are collected at the time of next payment. So in summary, we have indeed used the best aspects of each. From a payment perspective, we can collect prepayment at the time of purchase using the vending system. From a readings perspective, we can measure and timestamp readings and send those readings to the system where they're rated. We can also send auxiliaries back down to the vending system to collect the differential charges. We can apply a flat prepayment tariff at the time of purchase, and we can apply any complex tariff we want based on the consumption using the system. I think we get 100% or 5 gold stars. Thanks for watching.